Hello. You are most welcome to Esther Generation Ministries. Join us on a transformative journey of faith, hope, and love as we share the message of Christ across the globe. Our international ministry is dedicated to empowering individuals and communities through inspiring teachings, uplifting worship, and impactful outreach programs.
More. But you see, the thing is, the word of God says that men love your wives, husbands love your wives. You see, and the God's word is very specific. He says husbands. So that means there are some men who are not husbands. There are some men who are actually not men. There are some men who are boys. There are some men who have husband material, and there are some men who don't have husband material. So those are the ones I usually call boys. They are boys because the way they behave, the way they do things, the way they handle their families, the way they handle their lives. I mean, those ones, at times when I move through town or I meet people in a community, I just listen to the way the men talk. And I can tell that out of these 5 men, I have 3 boys. Much as they are mature. But we still love you, but you're supposed to love us more. Yeah. You're the one supposed to show us where to go. And somebody said, women should not marry because of love. Okay. That you don't marry a man because you love him. No. You marry a man because of purpose. Okay. Yes. Let a man tell you what his vision is, what his dream is, what his purpose is. What is the purpose of this relationship? You see? Because at the end of that day, you have something to help him do. Because a woman is a helper, isn't it? A helper suitable to the man. Because the man was the one put in the garden first. And then God said, it is not good for a man, you see, for a man to be alone. So that then he said, I'll make for him a suitable what? Helper. That means you are there to do work. You see, you are there to do work. You're there supposed to be you are the driver. You see, you are the driver. And the woman is coming as the turn boy. Let me say that way. You see, it's the turn man. The woman is coming to help you. She's the helper. So don't marry a man for love. Let no man ask you, do you really love me? That is a wrong question. Let this man ask you, are you ready to support me in my vision, in my purpose? This is because you're supposed to be my helper. Are you ready to stand with me as we move on and I achieve this goal? You see, because I need a helper. I need to come back home when I'm tired. I need to be comfortable. I need to be taken care of. I need the children taken care of. I need somebody who can help me plan. And you see, women are serious planners, by the way. And they're detailed people. But that's not what we're talking about today. What we're talking about today, friends, is we want to talk about betrayal. We want to talk about betrayal. I've discovered that so many women out there are crying because they have been betrayed. They have been betrayed. And you see, when a woman goes into a relationship, she goes wholesale. She doesn't, she goes without any reservation. You see that? When she meets a man and the woman is ready to get married and settle, you see, she goes wholesale. She packs everything. You see that? She packs everything. Although I know there are some men out there who are listening and saying, no, there are some women who leave half of their things at home. It is true. Those ones are there, and those are not women. Those ones are girls. Somebody who leaves part of herself in her home, in the father and the mother's home, is a girl. So that one is not a woman. Me, I'm talking about these ones who pack and go wholesale. And because the one who packs half of her things actually has left room for benefit of the doubt. So her heart is divided. She's either she knows that anytime I can engage a reverse gear, you see, and go back. But there's this one who packs her things and she says, for me, come rain, come sunshine, I am going to settle and build my home. And you'll find that in many situations, these are the kind of women who are being betrayed. These are the kind of women who are crying out there, you see. I've been receiving very many calls, and most of the calls come from women. Most of the calls come from women. And the woman, most of them are saying, I got married to this man, we have children. And the man has decided to walk away. Oh, I got married to this man and we have children, but he decided to get married, to marry another woman. I'm married to this man, we have children, he doesn't now provide, you see. There are very many, and I wonder, what is really this thing that men keep doing to the women? You see, what is this thing? And it is betrayal. Now, what is betrayal? Number one, we're going to look at the definition of betrayal. Then we shall look at some of the causes of betrayal. What causes betrayal? Then we're going to look at the effects of betrayal. And then finally, God willing, we shall look at some of the solutions. What is the way forward? You see, you have been betrayed. So what next? What next? So now, what is betrayal? Betrayal is the act of violating the trust, you see, or the confidence of another person. By the time somebody, Fiona, packs her things, or by the time you pack your things and you say, I'm going to settle with a man, that means, number one, you've trusted him. You see that? Trust is number one. You've trusted him. You see, you have confidence in him. I'm not going to mix my words. I said here that a woman should not marry a man for love. So don't ask her whether she loves you or not. And you see, the problem is women are people who are visionary. You see, if you want to see the best out of your wife, give her a task. There is a wisdom that God has given women, that when you give her a task, even if you just, you just sketch for her something, don't give her details. Sketch it. And you tell her, this is what I feel, this is what I want to do, and these are the ideas that I have. Can you please help and put them together? I want to assure you, even if that woman has never gone to school, give her time to put her brain to work. She will produce for you something that will amaze you as a man. You see that? So when she trusts you, she will make sure she pours her life into you. She pours her life into everything that you have put on the table for her to do. She pours her life into expanding your family. She gives you children. You see that? She gives you children. You see, men are like a farmer. You go farming and then you spread the seeds, but you don't know. You see how this seed is going to grow, and at the end of the day, grow, mature, and then give you fruit. You see? So it is the woman who nurtures this seed. You see, the seed. Now, when I'm talking about nurturing seed, it ranges from children to everything, to the works of your hand. Because whatever we put to work, even if it is money, some little capital, that is still a seed. And everything you do, everything you do in your relationship, everything you do as a married couple, everything you do as a family, you see, is a seed. It is a seed. Because at the end of the day, even the decision you make is a seed. And within that seed, there are benefits and consequences. So every time you're doing something, you should know that there is a benefit. If I handle this thing well, if I make the right decision, I'm going to benefit from it and to produce the kind of desired result. But if you make a wrong decision, within that wrong decision, there's the consequences. You see that? Now, when you betray a trust, I was saying that women pour themselves into this man. You know, she gives herself away. She gives herself away. That is why when a man delays to introduce himself to a family of a woman, when he delays, he takes his time, it pains them. Because she's like, I have done everything. I have tried to surrender, to support this man. I have given myself, my heart, the whole of me I've given to this man. But he doesn't seem to see my importance or the value of what I'm doing to him, the trust, And remember, there are many other suitors who were out there, but she decided to choose you. Yeah. See, she decided to choose you. And she chose you because she trusted you. Now, what did this woman look at? What did she look at? She looked at a man she looked at a man who had the potential to give her a future. You see that? She looked at a man who had the potential to make her achieve even her dreams, because women also have their dreams. They have their expectations when they enter into a relationship. They have the expectations. Then she was looking at a man who would be the future father of her children. You see? And for women, they see very far. A woman, when even at the wedding, before even the wedding or before you take her to her home, when she begins relating to you, she has already seen you 50 years ahead. She's looking at herself sitting next to you when all of you are gray and maybe arguing when children have come. You see? Or maybe she will see you receiving your grandchildren. She will visualize your future. That is a gift that women have. She will visualize your future. You see, we are very visionary people. So then she begins now organizing herself to achieve that. And that is her pleasure. That is her desire. Now she will trust you by giving herself to you, because she knows that you are the type of man who is going to take her to that dream. You see? So now, when this confidence is violated, when this confidence is violated, that is now when we call it betrayal. You see that? It is betrayal. Somebody has trusted you, somebody has confidence in you, and then at the end of that day, you turn your back. Moreover, remember, you spoke words that convinced her. I'm telling you, you spoke words that made her to drop all the other candidates, and you became the best. Actually, there could have been better ones out there, but the way you presented your manifesto, the way you presented your manifesto, you see, your 10-point program, she was like, I think this one. Because, I remember when I was growing up, my mom usually, she kept telling us that a girl who is still at home has very many husbands. Not in the sense of like being with them, but I mean, everybody can come and talk to her and want to take her to be his wife. So you can find this one girl having Mr. A, B, C, D. All of them are potential husbands. You see, it is not like these days where girls just give themselves to the men or to boys before even things mature. You find them sleeping around. No. You see, and that is one of the causes of betrayal. Some women have made themselves to be too cheap. You see that? So if I usually tell girls, I said, if you allow yourself to be cheap now before he marries you, the time he wants to marry, when he wants to seriously settle as a man in a home, he will look for another girl. It has happened. You look for another one and you'll be betrayed. You'll be betrayed. You see that? Now, betrayal, you see, is a sense of being harmed, you see, by the omission or intentional actions of an individual who is viewed as a trusted person. So it can even be intentional. Actually, most betrayals are intentional. They just plan it. And they intentionally. You see, I just wonder. There are these things I see on social media where women are comfortable. Like that time I saw a man going with both his wives for Valentine's celebrating. And they were busy there. They were happy and they were not happy. I don't see any happiness in that. The first wife feels betrayed, but just because she doesn't want to lose her marriage, she pretends. So you find that amidst betrayal, people now begin to pretend. Actually, betrayers, people who betray usually are pretenders. Yeah. They are pretenders, you see. They pretend to be what they are not. And after they have pretended to be what they are not, they now find a way. After that, they are the real them. That is why you find women asking themselves questions, saying, are you really the man that I got married to? Are you the John that I knew? You are different. You have changed. He has not changed. It is now the real him coming out. He was pretending. He was pretending at that time, you see. So pretense is one of the causes of what? Of betrayal. You see, pretense. People pretend to be what they are not. You see. Now let me give you some characteristics of people who pretend. You see, and then pretense. When somebody is a pretender, that means he's also disloyal. He's not loyal to you. And at times, pretenders, number one, when you want to know the characteristic of what? Of a pretender. Number one, pretenders are angelic. Now this is for these young girls or young ladies who are ready for marriage, and you're all out for a suitor. You see? Number one, they'll be angelic. You see? They are too good to be true. There are some people, my friend, you may think that is an angel that has come from heaven and he has just landed now, except that the wings disappeared somewhere mid-air. The wings disappeared mid-air because he needed to arrive on earth while he's looking a normal what? Human being. They are too good to be true. Too good to be true. I read something still on social media where a lady delayed to go to make her vows because the man was too good to be true. She was wondering whether she's making the right decision or she's making a mistake. Because this man has been, for the last few years, he has been too good to me, not only to me, to my family, to my siblings, everything. He has been too good that I feel I'm making a mistake. He's too good to be my husband. You see that? But that one may be genuine. That one may be genuine because they were in courtship for more than 3 years. Yeah. That one may be genuine. But there are these ones who learned, and even if there are others who are better, the atmosphere they present around will make you feel like as if now this one I think is the late comer, but the last shall become first. You convince yourself that this one is the real one you've been waiting for. Then you drop the other one who was genuine. Because there are certain displays that he was not doing, and this one has the tactics of a pretender. You see? So he will pretend. He will be too good to be true. He will be so angelic. So these are some of the signs that women should do. If you want to avoid betrayal, these are some of the signs. You see? A man may be too good to be true. Search out for the reality. Don't be taken up. Charm is deceptive. He can be so charming. These pretenders can smile, eh? Yeah. They can call you sweetheart. They can call you honey. They can call you every kind of what? Name. And and the woman will melt and she will say, if not this one, actually even at night she will not sleep. Then she begins posting, she begins changing her profile picture. Changing her profile picture. My friend, slow down. Slow down. Slow down. Because everything that glitters is not gold. It may be glittering from the outside, but he may be a pretender. I'm not saying that all of them are pretenders, but we are talking about betrayal. You see? We are talking about betrayal. And this is how one of the things that happens, they pretend. You see? They pretend. Number two, pretenders have things in their background that are not consistent with their claims. Now that means what you need to do in order to avoid betrayal, do a research about the background of this person. Forget about his charm. Forget about his showering you with a lot of gifts and whatever. Why should he be so good to you after all? We just met the other day. We are still learning. You see? One time somebody told me she met a man, and this man told her, we are going to be in courtship for 2 years. She was like, okay, there's no hurry. There's no hurry, it's okay. 2 years. So they started counting down with the time. And you see, she was very careful to make sure that they did not cross the red line. I'm using mature language. Yeah. People understand. They never cross the red line. So they kept moving on. So one day she trapped this guy. And she trapped the guy and called him and said, I have a problem I need to discuss with you. So when at first he was like, it is too late, I can't come out at this time. She was like, no, let's come and we discuss briefly and then you will go. I really need to talk to somebody. There's something that is eating me up. So the guy grudgingly comes. Now when he comes grudgingly, and then this lady sits there and looks at him. Then he's like, what is it that you had called me for? Now you talk. She sat there and she was watching. Say, this human being. And this was a few months into the relationship. This human being. Then she pretended to be crying. The man was not moved. You see? And then at the end of the day, his sister said, can you now talk? Then she's like, I can't talk right now because the way you are handling this thing, I think I cannot. Then the man gets up and leaves her there. Hey! Gets up and leaves her there. Then she was like, I'm telling you, I saw. Now, she said, assuming that I had gone very far with this man. Because at first, it was, and even said 2 years, and I said it is fine. But you can imagine a few months into the relationship, this is the character he's showing me when we are still relating. You see? And then she discovered this man was the greatest liar. He can tell her, I'm like right now we're at the radio. He can tell her I'm in Arua Hill when actually he's at the airfield. You see? Then, so many things. Then eventually I told her, I said, don't waste your time. This one, when you go to visit your village, when you go to the village to visit, he'll introduce people as his sisters when actually they are his wives. Right. Yeah. Even when he knows you are not around, he can decide to bring another woman into your house. This one, just let go. Don't waste your time. That is a pretender. So check the background of this person. Pretenders, they have something in their background that they are hiding. You must find out. So the second cause of betrayal is that people don't check what is in the background of this person. You see? And usually when you are around betrayers, one of the characteristics is that they are confused people. You ask the same question several times, you'll get several answers. And by the way, women, there's an intelligence that God has given women that they're not exploiting. There is a brain that God has given women. There is a sense, I usually call it the sixth sense or seventh sense that women have, that men don't have. And women are not exploiting that. They allow themselves to be deceived by pretenders. You see? They don't search, they don't put their mind to task, to think beyond what they see. I usually tell people, when you're talking to me, I read in between the lines. You can give me 4 sentences and I bring out 10. I'll observe you, I'll listen to you, and then when you are done, I'll go back and begin to, I will travel back to the discussion. And I ask questions. Why this statement? Why this one? What caused this one to come out? You see, you keep asking yourself questions. You look through the discussion and then you come up with certain things that were hidden. I wish women could put their mind, their brains to think, to task. They will not be betrayed. Because you'll see the signs. Even if it is in a marriage, you'll see the signs. Don't accept to be bullied by gifts. You see, these betrayers, they are very generous. They are very generous.
Okay, we first go for a break and then we shall be right back. Remember, we are going to, we shall come into the second hour and
beyond a certain level of conceptualizing issues. And they imagine, and the problem is our African culture. You see, where women are put below the bar. So at times when men are doing things, they imagine, they're like, this woman cannot think beyond this level. Or at times they can say, but how can a woman do this thing? Yeah. They're like, but how? This one is just, and they use the word just a woman. You see, just a woman. And then you find that I'm saying that this is a person who says one thing and does another. So they will come to this woman and they say something else. And then their actions are different. That's why the Englishman says that actions speak louder than words. So the best thing you can do as a woman, today I'm giving you a tip. Watch the non-verbal communication. Don't only say, but he said this, but he said this. No. Somebody may come and tell you this is what this man is doing. Say, but this is not what he told me. Okay, fine. He told you a different thing, but he's doing something else. That means he's a traitor. He's a traitor. So you have to watch. Even if you have 5 children, I have seen women who are abandoned with 5, 7 children. There's in the same village where the old man, after having almost 10 children, then calls the in-laws and says, I want to give back your daughter to you. At that age, where do I mean, it's very interesting. You see, we are laughing, but it's sad. You can imagine, you're a grandfather, and you are talking about sending a grandmother back to their home. Are you okay? Are you okay? That is a traitor. You see? That's a traitor. Why should he pretend all these years and have children with you? And then after that, he abandons you. He says something else to you and he does something else. You see? And it is so irritating, and most of these traitors or the betrayers are liars. They are liars. There was a time I told somebody, I said, the day I discover that you're lying to me, our relationship is over. And I meant it. Because why should you lie to me? Why should you lie to me? If we're doing business together, let us put it on this. Let us have truth as the common denominator. Because at the end of the day, both of us are going to benefit, isn't it? So don't think that my mind cannot go beyond your words. Because I may choose to keep quiet. And you see, that is what most women do. A woman can decide to keep quiet. One time something happened somewhere and I knew right from the time go, I knew what was going on. Because I kept looking at the signs, the signs of the activities, and I wasn't believing some of the words when they were spoken. And I told this young man, I said, this other person here is lying to you. You see? And this was now between 2 young men. You see? So I said, this young man here is lying to you. Don't believe everything he says. And this other one was saying, but everything he says, comes true. I see the things here and the way he's doing things. I told him, don't be deceived. Give yourself 3 months and you'll confirm what I'm telling you. Give yourself 3 months. And that was in, I think, around October. Then we go November and then December. Now, in December, things started coming out. Then in January, now this other young man whom I was dealing with, he told a friend, he said, but Pastor Juliet knew these things all along and she refused to talk. I said, yes, you're a man. I wanted you to use your head. You see that? You have to read the signs. Somebody may be saying something else, but when the person's actions are different. That's why when you're communicating to somebody, it's also good to concentrate on the non-verbal communication. And then don't leave things hanging. Follow up. This is what we have agreed. Is this what he is doing? When you agree to do something, even if you're a couple, you have agreed to do something. But at the end of the day, the man wakes up in the morning and it's like the program has changed. Why? What happened at night? That means you never meant it in the first place. And women should be very careful. They should learn to ask questions. You see? Learn. And you see, men don't like questions, eh? Why asking me very many questions? I don't have time to answer your questions. No, I need to understand. You see, I need to understand. I don't want to put my eggs in a basket that is weak. I might end up losing all my eggs. So let me understand you. This thing that you're talking about, that is why times when a woman asks questions, they say this woman is stubborn. She's not stubborn. Actually, that is the best woman for you. If your wife or your girlfriend or your fiancé can ask you hard questions, love her even more. Love her more. Because that means she understands her value. That's number one. Number two, that means she understands what she's going in for. She's not a mediocre. You see, she's putting her brain to the right use. Don't deter her. And a man who doesn't want to listen to questions, who doesn't want to answer questions, is a betrayer, is a pretender.
Yeah.
He's an actor. You know, a traitor is an actor. And you see these actors, it is a fiction. There's no reality in them. There's no reality. He's an actor. And that is why you find many women, after getting deep into the relationship, they get betrayed. And they get so hurt. Because these people are actors. They are called what? Double crossers. You see? And at times, this betrayal can go to a certain level of releasing information that is not supposed to be released. You know, you can know so much about your wife. You can know so much about your girlfriend or your fiancé or your husband. And this goes both to men and... There are some men also who are loose talkers. You know, Fiona, there are some men who can't keep their mouths shut.
Yeah.
I usually say that the people who talk too much, these are people who suffer from what I call verbal diarrhea. They can't keep their mouths shut. So you find yourself speaking things that you are not even supposed to say. And that is an act of betrayal. Because that means you have betrayed my confidence. And unfortunately, even some people who are in the positions of where someone can come and confide in you. I can be your in-law. And then you come to me in confidence to tell me what is going on in your relationship, maybe with your spouse. Trusting, confiding in me. And then at the end of the day, you hear it somewhere else. You hear the same story. Moreover, you know that you never told that story to any other person except me. You see? Even some women, they're like that. And that is why they are betrayed. Because there are some who think that they have friends. So they go and pour out every secret. Things that should have not even been spoken. Now that friend will go where? To the husband. And say, hey, so this is what you are doing to my friend. This is what she's doing to you. Or this is what is happening in your home. Now this one will continue to pretend to be good to her friend. When actually here she's also pretending to be good to the husband. With the motive of what? Turning his heart. Eventually, what will happen? The heart of the man will be turned to this one who is pretending to be a problem solver. The other day I was with a young man, and this young man has challenges. And I told him, I said, sir, you are jumping from the river. Because at first he came to me, we talked, and I cautioned him about certain things. But he never listened. Then he decides to go to another relationship. And that one is worse. So I told him the first time you jumped into a river. And now again, you are now in this river swimming, and you think now you can solve this problem by getting another woman. When actually you are now jumping in an ocean. And you know in the ocean there are very many beasts. You are going to be eaten up. You will be devoured. So the best thing is move out of this river. Move out of this river. You see that? So you may think that you are solving a problem when actually you're causing more problems. Causing more problems to yourself, to your children. And remember, you have children. And I said in the beginning that whatever you do is a seed. You may not, you see, you can plant, Fiona, you can plant a mango. You can plant a mango tree. Maybe a seed. You enjoyed the mango fruit and it was so sweet, and you're like, no, I think I need to plant this seed. You're not the one who is going to eat the fruit. There are people who are going to benefit from that tree in future. So whatever you do is a seed. If you are a betrayer or you are a traitor, you are a double crosser, I want to assure you, one day you are going to reap. You may not be the one to reap, but you are sowing for generations. Because life is a seed. See, life is a seed. There are many women out there who are crying. The ones who have been betrayed. They are stuck with the children. They are stuck with children. They came to you when they were very beautiful. They were young. They had, everything, life going on for them. Now, after 10 years down the road, you think that she's no longer good enough. Were there no other better ones than her? Why did you go for this particular one? You see that? Why did you go for this particular one? So, these are double crossers. They are double dealers. That is why you need to be very careful. Don't take things for granted, and don't take information that people give you for granted. Pretending that you know that love covers the multitude of sin. Let me tell you, love also delights in the truth. Let me be a pastor now. Love delights in what? The truth. If there is no truth in that relationship, why should you continue with it? If he can't tell you the truth, if she can't tell you the truth today, you can be sure even after 3 years she'll still continue lying to you. And you see, that truth, that lies continues to grow and mature. I've told you whatever you do is a seed. So you plant a seed of lies in your relationship. By the time it becomes a big tree and starts fruiting, and you know fruits have many seeds. So what are you going to do? How will you uproot that tree? You remember the taproot root has gone so deep. And it is already bearing fruit. Don't be surprised if you are a liar, you are a betrayer, you are a pretender, you are a double crosser, you are a double dealer. You also find your match. Because birds of the same feather flock together. You find your match. You think that you think that this woman is, you see, it is very funny. I usually tell men, when we betray your first wife, you'll never settle in life.
Yeah,
Never.
that is the fact.
I've been looking at men who have betrayed their first marriages, their first wives. They have never settled. Never. Unless it is the woman who decided to leave you and go away. That one is a different case. But if you decide to betray her, I hope our lines are open.
The lines are open already, dear listener. 0782 0782 0782 456.
You see that? So you should not be a two-timer. You see? A two-timer. You and other people, they betray. What hurts most, Fiona, is when you are betrayed under the guise of friendship. You're my friend. My friend. You eat together, you share everything that you have.
There is someone online now. Let's first hear from this. Access the camera. We lost that person. You can continue.
You see, they pretend to be a friend. You see, they pretend to be a friend, and you think that you really have a friend.
Another caller online. Access the
That a woman is a processor. You see, she's an incubator. Women at times can choose to keep quiet. By the time a woman brings out an issue, that means she has really tolerated it for a long time. You see that? And exactly. You see? And now, Sydney, what you give a woman is what she gives back to you. Somebody, you know, let me try to help you here. You see, I want us to be balanced in our discussion. You see, the thing is, what you give, I said at the beginning that whatever you do in a relationship is a seed. Excuse me, and this seed grows. You see that? It grows. So now, by the time you've lived with this person for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and you've also had children, at times you find that there are issues that started right from the beginning. But both of you were doing what I call honest lies. You know honest lies? You see, honest lies, this is self-deception. First of all, you are not ready to admit the truth. This is honest lies because you've just got married. You see, you've just got married or you've just entered into a relationship. There is something you notice that is not right with this particular person, but you cannot admit the truth. So you continue living in a lie. You continue living in deception. Now, when you sit down and try to do an analysis of these relationships that have broken, or somebody has opened the door and left, or another says, me, I'm now fed up. You see, by the time you say you're fed up, that means you've been feeding. You've been feeding. And now you are tired. But the issue is you have been accepting honest lies. You've been lying to yourself. You've been seeing these things coming in, but you never solved it at the beginning of the relationship. That is why it is very important to be truthful. You see, be truthful, be yourself. Like we said here, we said that women, even God, in the word of God, like you mentioned very well, the Holy Book says women, wives should submit to their husbands. They come in as helpers. You see, they come in as helpers. But remember, you have something you're supposed to present to her. You see, you have something you're supposed to present to her. It is what you give her that she'll process and give back to you. Yes. Number one, you were the sole provider. Okay, the man is the sole provider. And something happened somehow, and then the source dried up. You see that? Then the woman changes her attitude towards the man. You see? Now, here is also a mistake that most of our brothers make. The mistake is some men want their wives to be 100% housewife. You see, you want her to depend on you, and that is what makes you, because every man is born with a male ego. You know, you want to feel like you are a man. Yes, you are a man. But remember, you are dealing with a human being whom you are supposed to nurture. You see, your wife is what you want her to be, because she was removed from you, from your rib. You see, so you are the one who gave the raw material. You are the author of this woman. That means it is you to decide the design of your wife. Now I'm talking very technically here, Sydney. Let us be realistic. Sydney, yes, I know that is not fair. You see, and that is wrong. It is wrong. Yes. It is very, very wrong for a man, you see, to help you as a woman and bring you out of that level. You know, by there times I feel the pain of men. There are some men who go out of their way to make sure. I've seen some. I have examples I could even give. They go out of their way to make sure that this woman at least is maybe doing a business, or maybe gets a job, or probably even educates her a little bit, you know, to lift her standard. And it is not for personal, because he's looking at the family. Now, the woman ends up becoming, let me use the word, big-headed. You see, she now forgets that she was picked from somewhere. Now let me be a pastor. When you study the word of God, when he brought the children of Israel out of Egypt, you see, he kept warning them, do not forget where you came from. Do not forget where I picked you from. Anyone who forgets where they were picked from is a betrayer, is a traitor, you a pretender. You see that? Because you forget, you actually pretend to forget. You see, there's another one I read in the social media. The man, he picked this girl and educated her. You see, he spent over 15 million on this girl. And now after she finished university and got a job, she says the man is not her type. The man is too old. But what about the money that came from this, not your type?
The money wasn't
That is being unfair. And some women are so unfair to men. You see that? They are very unfair. I feel Sydney's pain for the men. It's so unfair. You see that? But the fact is, that is why I'm still going back to my point. You see, I'm still going back to my point. Read the red lights. There are signs that will show you. You see, there are certain actions that will show you that this thing is heading to the rock. You see, and when you deal with them early enough, then that means that you are going to avoid certain things in the future. It may be very painful to terminate a relationship that has just started. But when you see that this relationship is going nowhere, it is better to terminate it and nurse the pain. You see, nurse the pain. That is why it is even not good to meet somebody today, tomorrow you are in bed. Because you are now going to exchange your souls. You see, there's what we call soul tie. And that is why you find that usually even when people who are in a relationship without getting married, you see, they get hurt when the other one now moves on. It is painful. Why? Because part of you is already in that person.
And it affects your next marriage.
It does, because you have not disconnected yourself from that person. You see that? So part of you is still in that person, part of him is in you. That's why you see after very many years, when they meet again, they can even decide to continue with the relationship. Why? Because you have become one. You see, God said the two shall become what? One. That is after you have met together in bed. You see that? You become one, you're no longer two. That means that is why you find, that's why I was saying that men who leave their first wives, you see, they don't settle in the next marriage. Why? Because they will be looking at the next woman through the eyes of this one. Everything the other one does, he's comparing with his former what? His former wife. And this woman also, even if she got into another relationship, she will still begin. You see, that thing is there. It is natural. It happens. It is in the soul. Is in the soul. But it is betrayal when somebody supports you. You see? Supports you, supports your family, and then brings you to a level whereby you become a human being. You know, let me use that literal word. You become a human being, you become something in society. Then all of a sudden, you turn your back. That is the highest level of betrayal. You know, there is that highest level of betrayal that is called gaslighting. That is the ultimate form of betrayal, a serious form of manipulation that causes victims to question their reality. You see, they manipulate you to the point that after they have disappointed you, you question reality. You question yourself. Is this real? Is this really, is this thing happening? And that thing can cause somebody even to get a mental problem.
Yeah.
You see, because you sit back and you wonder, how can this thing happen? I can't believe it. You see, I can't believe it because you have been manipulated. You see, they manipulate you. And you see, manipulation is twisting somebody around to make sure you control them to the point that they become so vulnerable as far as you are concerned. And that is wickedness.
Yeah.
You see, that is wickedness. You cannot make somebody become vulnerable, like as if now when you betray them, it's like they cannot do without you.
Yeah.
You see, so somebody questions reality. Somebody questions reality. You see, these people who do that, you see, they rely on an imbalance of power that favors their agenda. They rely on an imbalanced power that favors their agenda. They have an agenda. They have a hidden agenda, and they will make sure they're in balance. You know, they're like Sydney was saying. You see, so there's a way in which there is imbalance in power. The woman, you think that now, they grow wings. I wonder why you should grow wings. For me, I usually think that the more empowered you become, the more humble you should be. That is what I imagine. Because when you are somewhere in society, when you are at a certain level in the community, you should be humble, because people look at you now as they can give you as an example to their children. They can give you as an example. They say, look at so and so. However much she's educated, however much she has money, but she's still humble. I think that is a compliment, isn't it? Yeah. I don't think education should not make you proud, because you are not the first and you'll not be the last. Yeah. Marriage should not make you proud, because you're not the first and not be the last. You see, and wealth should not make you proud, because you're not the first and you're not the last. And you'll discover there are people who are even more wealthier than you. Actually, when they try to look for the list, even in this West Nile of ours here, when they try to look at the list of women who are wealthy, you may not even appear in the first 1,000. So now what is your problem? And after all, somebody helped you. You see, somebody helped you. You see, at times I get so disappointed in women who jump out of a relationship just because the man now has nothing. You see, there is a case. That lady, I pray one day she accepts to come and give her story. You see, the husband was doing very well. Very, very well. And they had a comfortable life. Everything was going on so well. But down the road, a few years down the road, the man kind of lost his business. You see, totally, to the point that he could not even afford anything. And to make it worse, he started behaving, because of that frustration. He started drinking, he started, now he was very, he was like violent and that kind of thing. And surely this lady really tolerated. Then she comes to me and she tells me, Pastor, I'm leaving. I told her, I said, where are you going? Said, I want to go back home and rest. I said, where are you leaving your children? She said, I'm going to leave them here or else I go with them. I told her, Madam, you are not going anywhere with your children. When this man was rich, I saw the kind of life you were living. You were living a very happy life. The man is a very responsible man. Right now, he's just frustrated. He's angry because of what happened to him. Now, you must stick with him. If you're doing some little business, make sure you sustain the family. I even told her, I said, to not take long. You are going to smile again. Yeah. The lady looked at me and said, but it's too much. She started crying. I said, you cry. But after crying, I don't want to hear you going to leaving your husband because now things have happened like this. You see? She really said it's painful. I said, I know. But remain there because tomorrow, assuming that God remembers him, what will you do? And by that time, another person would have taken your place. Yeah. Because he will say, when I was rich, you loved me. When things went bad, you disappeared. Now where are you going? You lose your home. Yeah. Your children will lose their inheritance. The lady looked at me and she couldn't believe what I was telling. I said, yes. I am now talking to you with authority. You are not leaving your marital home. If you see he has picked a club to hit you, you run and hide. Then you come back when he has cooled down. When you see he's drunk and he's violent, you run and hide. You will come when he has sobered up. You will not pick the club to hit you. She said, okay. In a short while, it didn't take even long, Fiona. This is the reality. It did not take long. The man again got himself back on his feet. And the lady is now smiling. I'm going to call her and I give her an appointment next week. I want to ask her, assuming that you left, would you be? That is what happens. You see that? Yeah. So you never know what will come tomorrow. You never know what will come on the way of this man. So there's no need for you to grow wings. Women, listen to me. Don't grow wings. Remain humble. God will lift you. God will even bless you more when you support that man because you came in as a helper. You see, you came in as a helper. When you help, it doesn't matter. Now he doesn't have. You see, he doesn't have. That does not mean you should despise him. He still remains a man. He still remains your husband. And by the way, you accepted him amidst all the others. So what are you going to do? And you have children. What do you want your children to do? What do you want your children to do? How do you want them? What do you want your daughters to learn from you? And what do you want your sons to learn from you? Your sons will grow up not valuing their wives. Yeah, They will grow up saying, after all, even my mother behaved like this. So, you see? Then the daughters will say, after all, my mother managed. It is so unfortunate. The seed. Friends, as we finish, it is the seed. It is the seed. Let us be careful. Betrayal. You see, manipulating. Women are good at manipulating people. You see, they are good at manipulating people. They will smile here while they are holding a knife behind themselves like this to stab you. And it is not good. Because at the end of that day, it is you who is going to lose. I've seen women who walked out of their marital homes. After a few years, they want to come back. But by the time they come back, there is very little vacancy. Yeah. Because you're the one who left the space. And somebody has occupied it. And you cannot force yourself in. Because it is you who left. It is difficult. It is different when it is a man who has left. You see, but it is you who has left. Now that you have left because you thought you had. And all of a sudden now there is nothing. You see, there is a sad story. Let me finish with this story. I don't know whether we have callers or messages.
We have messages.
You can read them.
All right.
Before I...
Okay, we have some